Do I need to unmute it or somebody?
You are on.
I'm on? Oh,
Yes,
fantastic. Everybody, welcome to the Ladies Talkshow with your host, Leah Richeimer. I'm very thrilled to be here. It's been a few weeks, and we have a lot to cover today. Very, very exciting. First of all, I want to just, I got this thing, whatever. So sympathy, like, oh, you poor thing, you poor thing. Okay, so I have
For those that are on the teleconference, Leah's holding up her right hand that has a cast on it.
So the truth is, I actually was so thrilled and excited to have this done because it's been hurting me, whatever, and now he says I won't be hurt. But I will tell you, have you ever tried to brush your teeth with the wrong hand? It's like, hello, okay, whatever. It's like not normal. I can't even pull my chair forward. I had to have her come around and push my chair forward. Anyway, we are dealing with this. But here's what we're going to cover today. The glass, and actually that's good. Is always half full. So everybody knows the expression, glass half empty. Do you see the glass half empty, the glass half full? We are going to talk about how in your marriage there are many things that take place in your relationship where we see the glass half empty. So I'm going to start off very differently today. I want to start off with a very annoying, hard exercise. Not annoying and hard, but it sounds like I'm doing something really bad and like, why would you ever ask people this? But I'm going to ask it to you, and I want you to think about it, and I promise you, I'll bring it around full circle, and you'll see why I'm asking you to focus on this, and that is this question. Right now, ponder one very, very annoying thing that your husband does. One thing.
Only one, Leah?
Only one, okay? So you're focusing on one thing that your husband does that's annoying. And, whether it's, he chews with his mouth open or he always leaves the front door open, something that he does that annoys you constantly. Okay, so everybody take a moment, focus on one thing that he does. Okay, you got it? Everybody got their thing? Yes, yes, yes? Okay, fine. Now, we're going to work this beautiful magic. I want to tell you 3 little mini stories. So the first story, I had a student come to me and she said, listen, my husband drives me crazy. There is constant tension in the house because he is so methodical in everything that he does, and so tedious in everything that he does. We never get to anywhere on time. To do the dishes, I can do the dishes in 10 minutes, 15 minutes max. It takes him half an hour, and he's like looking and holding it up to the light to see if there's soap on it. I mean, whatever, 24/7, I have to deal with somebody who works at half speed, and it's driving me insane. And not only, and I've told him again and again, just forget it. Just leave it the way it is. Let's go. Who cares? Okay, your tie isn't perfect. You do not need to do the knot 3 times, okay? But he still does, and I can't get him over this behavior, and it's driving me nuts. Please fix him. Okay? Here's the question I had for her. What does your husband do for a living? And she said, he's an accountant. Fine. He's an accountant. Now, from my understanding of accountants, they have these long columns of numbers, and they have to add them up perfectly. And then they recheck them. And then they recheck them again, and then they check them again and make sure there isn't 1 penny off. Is that correct? And she said, yeah, that describes him to a T. Fantastic. The character trait that is driving you insane, his habit of checking everything and whatever, is also responsible for you having all of the money that comes into your household from your husband is because of that trait that's driving you crazy. She kind of smiled a little like, There is always a silver lining to everything that is annoying us like crazy. So I'll give you a second example. I had a husband, and he came to me, and he said, listen, I really love my wife. I'm happy I married my wife. I love our marriage, but she is so hypersensitive. It drives me crazy. I'll say the slightest thing and say, why are you being so harsh? Why do you talk like that? Why do you didn't, when you talk to the kids, it sounds like you're yelling at them. And she's so hypersensitive, I can't put up with it. It just every dinner is I do something wrong or say something wrong, and her hypersensitivity is ruining the peace and shalom in our home. What can I do? So I asked him the following question. I said, do you have a particular kid? I know they have a lot of kids. I said, do you have a particular kid that is extra challenging? He said, yeah, I got 3 of those. I said, okay, pick one kid. And she said, okay, I've got it in mind. Very difficult, challenging kid. How does your wife help in this situation? He said, what do you mean? I said, look, well, you know, if you had to handle him by yourself versus your wife handling it. And he said, oh, she's like, she totally gets him. Like, you know, we'll be at somebody's house for dinner and she will clock that he is not doing well, way ahead of I will. And she will avert the thing. She'll suddenly jump up from the table, bring him out, sit him down with a bunch of toys and whatever. Like, she's amazing with this kid. Like, she has a read on him like nothing else. I'm like, okay, there's your silver lining on your wife's quality of being hypersensitive. That's your silver lining. Third story. I had a woman who said to me that her husband is, you know, when she married him and she went on dates with him, he kind of put himself together, put on a nice tie, a nice shirt, and whatever. But over the years, they've been, I think, married 7 or 8 years or something like that. He has gotten more and more, you know, he leaves his shirt tucked out, his car, like if you look at the passenger seat of his car, especially in the floor area, it's like he's got a whole life's worth of stuff in there, things he just never, even empty water bottles and whatever. He's just hyper messy, and she reminds him of this, and she gets on his case, and he says, I know I'm working on it, but he kind of never works on it, and she's just really sick and tired of the messiness. And again, this is when she's like, you know, this is intolerable for me. So I asked her the following question. Do you have a housekeeper or somebody who helps you with the house? And she said, yes. Daily, weekly? She said, yeah, every day comes a few hours. Fine. Are there days when she calls in sick? And she said, oh boy. Yeah. And I said, on those days, when you go through that day and you have, you know, I know she also big family, big whatever, and she's lucky she has somebody to help her. I said, on the days that she doesn't make it, how do you feel by the end of the day? She says, I'm a mess. I'm a wreck. I'm like, ugh, like all of the little details that I have to do my job and her job. And I also work from home. You know, I think she's a graphic designer or something. I'm making up her profession because I don't want to give away who the actual person is, but it's something like a graphic designer. She does it from home. And so she said, it's just a disaster. And and I said, when your husband comes home, if he were to say something to you, oh my gosh, look at this place. Like, this is a disaster. Like, you know, nothing's done. The house is a mess. How would that make you feel after a day like that where the housekeeper didn't show? She said, oh, I forget about it. I'd be livid. Aha. There's your silver lining. Her husband, because he is on the messy side, when she has her roughest days, he comes home and he walks in the house and it's not even a blip on his radar. He doesn't notice it. There's your silver lining. So what's our take-home message? Our take-home message is that there are things that our husband does, or people in general, but let's just start with our husband. There are things that people do that bug us, that we think are, I can't even do quotes. Look at my hand, just quote unquote, you know, ruining our life. They, you know, whatever. And in actuality, those things, those very things that bug us the most, always have a silver lining. And how do we know this? We know this because Chazal tell us, we know from our tradition that Gam Latov, everything is for the good. So even things that look bad and seem bad and feel bad are for the good. So what this means for you, this is like this gift. You're going to walk through your life a little bit differently, God willing, with this information. That if you look for the silver lining, you will find it. So what I want everyone to do, we started out this little exercise with this annoying thing, and I told you I'd promise you that I'd fix it, okay, of thinking about what annoying thing our husband does that bugs us. Okay, so I want you right now, as we're sitting here, I want you to think about that item and what the opposite silver lining is to that trait. Callers on the line, I'd love you to either type in, or Facebook people type in or call in, and I want to hear from you. What is that annoying thing? If you're having trouble finding your silver lining to that annoying thing that you're going through or dealing with, I will help you. And we can do, if somebody in the live audience who wants to answer that question without saying anything really bad about their husband, like you can say, rather than saying, oh, he always leaves his books on the dining room table and it drives me crazy, which is saying Lashon Hara gossip about your husband. Rather say, he does something that bothers me about leaving something somewhere sometimes, or something like that. We'll work it out to make it anonymous. And then we'll walk through what's the silver lining. So in the audience, listening Facebook Live and teleconference, think about that. Think about your silver lining. And I'm here standing by to help you figure out what that silver lining is. Do you have one that you can say without it being gossip? No, it's going to be either she doesn't have one, or it's not, or it's going to be gossip. Who else has one?
I could say mine. Meaning it's not. I just. I'm very, when I take things upon myself, I very much take them on and I go head on, full force.
We know this about you,
okay.
Sarita. Okay.
And it becomes who I am. It just becomes a part of me, and I make it my thing. And my husband's a little bit more. He has these great aspirations of what he wants to do, or things he wants to, new things. Even like going to the gym. I really want to go to the gym every, at least three or four times a week. And he's like, starting next week, I'm going to start going to the gym. And
on Monday morning.
Right. And it's like, good for a week, maybe, So there's like this inconsistency where he's just like, he gets gung-ho about something, but it's, and he does, and he tries. And sometimes he'll hold off for like a good portion, but it's sort of all, dwindles at times. So
okay,
it's something that for me is very annoying because I'm much more sort of rigid like that. If I take on something, I take it a little bit.
So anybody want to take a crack at what the silver lining is?
Yeah, silver lining.
Come on, guys. Cup half full. Cup half full. Let's go.
But you're saying that he gets that burst of inspiration and will just go. I mean, that could be a great thing.
Right, but then it's sort of,
So that's where you come in and you can help with your qualities to keep it going. But
no, then I'm a nag because I'm like, you said that you were going to go to the gym this week. No.
But I heard a story, and I don't remember where it was sourced, so I feel bad to say parts of it because I'm really bad at repeating stories and stuff. But it was something like it was on a Dr. Lieberman show. He was saying something like there was a question: is it better? There was two horses running in the field, and one was running wild and all over the place, and one was just sitting calmly and not doing anything. And they were saying which one was better, and they say the one that was running wilder because at least you could train it and tame it, but the one who's not moving and has no desire to do anything, that's way worse. So at least he's motivated. He's got that inspiration.
So that's great. I need to train my
Great.
my wild horse.
Now we're getting somewhere. Okay.
That is
Okay,
the
hello.
best advice.
That's it. That's so funny.
All in your perspective.
So what do you say? It's half, the cup is half full.
Would you rather him sitting on the couch and being like, the gym, pass the potato chip?
No, but then you have these expectations. I almost have to, I wish I could just do that. Just turn myself off and not, sometimes I feel bad because I'll say it in
You know what, Sarah?
I'm like,
You do need to
don't-
turn yourself off sometimes.
No, correct, but sometimes I actually tell him this, which I feel bad about, but I'll say to him, don't share with me what you want to take on, because then I have these expectations of what you need to be doing, and I'd rather, if you want to go to the gym, start going to the gym, and then after a while, I'll be like, oh, look,
And what
I'm
did he
going
say to
the
that?
gym.
What did he say to that?
He was like, but you're my wife. I want to share this stuff with
If
you.
he
And I'm
says
like,
I'm going to the gym, and then he goes for a week and stops. Why does it affect you? Oh, I'm disappointed. That's your issue to work
right,
on.
yeah.
Why
yes,
are you disappointed that
I
he's
agree,
not
it's
going
my
to the
issue.
gym
This is what I'm
afterwards?
talking about. It's
That's
my
not
issue.
his problem that you were super excited that he's not
That's so
going to the
funny.
gym, and now you're
I want to
super
hear what you had to
devastated
say about you shutting him out. What did you mean?
I
It's always me.
Wait, hold on.
Share with me. Don't tell me you're like totally shutting him out. He's gonna think twice before he tells you anything.
I know. I
don't say
know
that.
I 100% know that. It comes out and then I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
That never happens to anybody else. So yeah, I don't know that. Yeah. So let me ask you. I'm not 100% clear on his trait. You're saying it's the trait of dreaming big
Yes.
that bothers you.
Yes.
Because then he never follows through on it.
Right. Correct.
Sometimes he does follow through, and in the past he has dreamt big and he has made it. So
Right. Yeah. I know.
like
Right, it comes with.
it
like,
comes
it
with
goes both
yeah.
ways,
Yeah.
So it's true.
So the question in terms of the silver lining, let's get this, because this is a great tool. Like you'll find yourself when you least expect it, this tool can come right in handy. Like someone's doing something that annoys you, you immediately can look for the silver lining, and it's like, oh, okay, great. Like it totally from going from angry and whatever to feeling like, oh, got it, fine. You know, like that shift is really awesome. So this is the tool of finding the silver lining. So let's look at this. It's his big dreams that are annoying, and what they're saying is that's a good trait because he'll eventually, he does some of the things. But let's look at I want for you to look inside or look in your relationship and think, what is the silver lining for, what do you gain personally from him having big dreams?
I mean,
Does it play out in his work life?
Yeah, no, I love.
Does it play out in his family? Like, let's do this. We're gonna
Yeah,
all go.
no.
Do
Yeah,
it.
it
Like what?
definitely. He's not someone who just sits around. He always he's thinking and moving and has aspirations and he wants to do things. So it's definitely, and because he strives for that, so we can together say, okay, let's do this, let's work on this, let's do that, and he will jump on board quickly because he gets excited. That excitement is there, so he gets excited.
Right.
I actually, as we were just doing all this, it was like going through my head that, like what you were saying, that maybe like this is for me per se, but that the truth is maybe the fact that he doesn't follow through all the time is good for me because he never he's never rigid on me in my pushing myself. Like,
Wow.
I'm pushing myself all the time.
Wow,
And then
wow,
on a
wow.
day where I take off, or let's say I need that break, I don't ever have to worry about him saying, weren't you supposed to do like A, B, C, and D? Or didn't you say you were going to...
Right there.
Meaning,
That's
yeah, like
gorgeous
he
silver
allows
lining.
me to be a little bit gentler on myself, you know, like to just...
Permission almost, because you
No,
see that
permission.
because
Yeah,
he's
like,
right.
For
He's
example,
not.
the Nate's thing, he literally just hit me as we were talking here now. He literally said to me, because I wasn't feeling well the past couple of days, and he said, you know, sleep in. You know, you don't, like, you're not getting up for Nate's, right? Just sleep in. Meaning he like gave me the
Permission to
say, okay, you know
take
what,
care
I
of
don't-
yourself.
Right. I don't need to. I could take leeways here and there on my own, and I get that.
So it seems like we got two silver linings. One is it lets you be more chilled on your things, but also the part that and that might be, you know, you might choose one or the other of the silver linings here, whichever one works best, or maybe at different times, or you might need two. One of them is that it gives you a chilled
Right.
thing, but the ability to be chilled. The other part of it is that, you know, if you go fishing, right, and you have a fisherman and he keeps casting out and throwing out, and you're like, come on already, come on. If he's not casting out, what are they called? The line. Thank you. If he's not casting out lines, you're not catching fish. You know, and you got a husband who casts out way more lines than he probably should or could or would or whatever. That's his personality. But you get some fish.
Fish are being
You
caught,
get some
so.
fish are being caught. So in terms of a silver lining, it's beautiful is that you got two there that you can use. Now, where does that play out in day-to-day life? And here's where it gets really powerful. We talk a lot in here about how there's a difference between knowledge and information and insights. So knowledge and information kind of needs to be processed and thought about and whatever. When you have an insight on yourself, it's almost like the actions flow out of the insight that you already got. So it's kind of beautiful because it makes it easier to change ourselves and grow ourselves by having an insight about what our thought process is. Now, it could be that you have to keep plugging in that thought process. So you might need to, in the spur of the moment, your husband's sitting there and he says, oh, you know what? Let's, wake up at 5 every morning, go to the gym, and, then we'll go and have a healthy breakfast, no junk anymore. Let's go through, blitz the house and get rid of all the potato chips and, whatever. He goes on this health kick. And then the next morning he's sitting at, he rolls out of bed at 9:30 and he's eating potato chips for breakfast, So at that moment, while he crunch, he's eating the potato chips. By the way, potato chips are so overrated. They're so not worth the calories. Like, if you're going to do it, get ice cream. You know what I mean? But anyway, everyone's got their own taste. But I always think that, I'm eating this. I could have had an entire bowl of really mint chocolate chip ice cream, and here I am eating these chips. Anyways, whatever. Now I'm going to get letters from Lay's potato chips saying, hey, what do you say? But anyway, so he's sitting there. He's eating his potato chips. The first thing in the morning, he's eating them, and your immediate knee-jerk reaction is going to be, this is so annoying. Like, he just said this. It's less than 24 hours later, and here we are. That's the time when you kick in silver lining. What's it? Oh, yeah. He cast out a fishing line, and this is one of his fishing lines that didn't catch a fish. Done. You can sit down at the table with him and eat your healthy breakfast or your potato chips or whatever it is that you've got, in mind. Do you know what the number one thing people put in their cereal? I don't know if this is true. It's Coca-Cola. What? In their breakfast cereal. I read it somewhere. Maybe it's not true, but even if it's not, it's one of those. So Snapple fact. Snapple
facts that are not true.
Cat fact that are not. Who knows? But anyway, whatever. Okay. So anyway, you're sitting there and you're eating your healthier breakfast or whatever. But rather than carrying that resentment and that annoyance at yet another thing, just think of the silver lining. And again, that insight will, God willing, pull you forward. And again, you have two. Your second one is saying, oh, you know what? I'm going to be chilled on him because he's going to be chilled on me. Right. Fantastic example. Good. Anybody else with silver lining story? Thing they're having difficulty seeing the silver lining on?
If any of our callers want to add anything, star 6. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
I'm gonna throw out some, and I want you guys to come up with what the silver lining is. Okay. A woman said to me that she's very upset because her husband never notices how she dresses. He never, like some people say, oh, you got a new outfit. I love that. Oh, look at that bracelet. Where'd you get that? And you have people like that in your life. He's not one of these people, okay? She can have a brand new outfit that she's totally excited with that makes her look like so skinny and great and whatever. She'll walk in and she'll have to tell him, this is a new dress. And he'll say, oh, that's nice. This is a new dress, and it was, whatever. It's my favorite new dress. I'm so excited about it to wear. And like, oh, wonderful dress. But he never notices, and it just annoys her because she feels like he married me. He is the only one that is important to me in terms of dressing. He's like the most important one or whatever, and he doesn't. It's not even a blip on his radar, and it just really. It's not that it makes me mad. It makes me sad. I want to cry. It's like he didn't even notice. I walk out with a brand new, dress, a new hat, new something, new purse, new whatever. It doesn't even register. Okay. Ball's in your court. What is the silver lining?
What do you mean? It's so easy. It doesn't register. That means he also doesn't.
Let her answer. She hasn't said anything.
Yes, please.
A while back, you used to say when you're making dinner and nobody's, complimenting your dinner, oh, isn't this just the most delicious meal that I made today? And you compliment yourself. So I actually do that experiment, what you just said. Like, I don't tell my husband I'm buying a new dress, and I wait to see how long he takes to notice it. And it doesn't bother me if he doesn't, but if he didn't notice it, I would say, do you like my new dress? Isn't it beautiful? And I would do that. If, I don't need to hear it. Like, of course you want to look nice for your husband. Right. But it's just like
We do need to hear it. I have to time out. We do need to hear it. And we have a whole section we're going to go over about appreciation and getting the appreciation we need. Again, with appreciation, we can accomplish so much in our lives. If we don't have that appreciation, everything we do is done with resentment. Everything. So we do need the appreciation, and we're going to learn awesome techniques soon of how to get that appreciation. It's brilliant. Will change your life. Will change your relationship. She knows it because she's been in the class for a couple of years. But we're going to get to that, and I'm going to hold your hand and walk you through step by step, and you will be the happiest person you've ever been because you're getting your appreciation bucket filled. It's gorgeous. So we will get there, and you do need to get the appreciation, and you're absolutely right. That is part of her answer is to learn to solicit appreciation, which is so politically incorrect, I can't tell you, but we're going to learn how to do it. And this is part of our Masorah, part of our traditions, and most importantly, it is a guaranteed way to make you happier than you've ever been. That's a preview of coming attractions. However, right now, what we want to look at is how before she hears a word from him, before he appreciates her at all, how we can alter what's going on in our head about annoyance that he didn't do it. How can we shift so that we can see that silver lining? And it's a before and after. Like once she gets this, she can't forget it. And that's what's gorgeous. So let's think of what's a potential silver lining. You said it was easy. Someone said, oh, that's easy. What? Go ahead.
When she doesn't look good, he won't notice either. She doesn't have, if he's not like so into her, she could like come out in her,
bathrobe.
He doesn't like say, oh, she doesn't look good or what, he doesn't like
She
care.
doesn't have to always be
Yeah, she doesn't have to be, looking amazing. She could just,
Interesting.
Which tells her that what he really loves about her
Is herself.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Which is so nice.
Sure.
To
Yeah, we
really
always
feel
learn that like when your husband comes home, you should make yourself beautiful and present yourself in a nice way to him, and it's something that's very hard with two little toddlers at home that I'm constantly running around, and most of the time I'm in pajamas, and I got myself one of those easy zip up for nursing, easy zip up. They don't make zip up robes even, other than those plaid house coats from like the.
So get yourself a caftan and put a zipper in there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you. That's creative. Nice. But I bought one of those easy ones, that you zip up and zip down, and it's like 3/4 length. It's like that cocky length. It's not even long or short, and it goes neither here or there, but it's covered in all of the areas. And I slip it on, and of course they come in all the best colors. So I only was able to get the red plaid striped with blue in it. It was a disaster. It is a little scary, and I will be sitting there sometimes, and he will come in and he goes, "Wow, that there's nothing like coming home to that plaid."
That's really funny. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So we laugh because he obviously knows that you. And he knows, but it's like there's such a difference in that dynamic. When they notice things like that, they really do. They notice, and he does notice when I'm dressed up or when he'll notice anything I'm wearing.
He's clued in on aesthetics. Yeah.
So it goes,
yeah.
I'm
both
saying
ways.
It goes both ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So hold on. Let's just for a second. I don't want to leave it on the table. Let's find what's the silver lining to him noticing every on you. Like we're just stepping away from this example for a second.
That I get the positive. He's constantly, I'll come down and, wow, I really love, how your makeup is. Oh, wow, I love what you're wearing. Wow, you look so pretty. Like he's constantly.
So that is your silver lining to the fact that when you aren't dressed that way, it's okay. Got that?
Well, at least I know that I can take the plaid. He says maybe one day we could just burn it.
Like when the kids are older.
It's good, right? When you're done. Those were the days. Right. Okay. Oh, that's really funny. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, so my husband also is more like that he'll notice everything, and I very much do not. So I think a silver lining also is like with the kids or with things in the house or something, like sometimes it'll just wash right past me. I could just not. So I'm appreciative that I know that I could count on him for the honesty that he'll notice, and he's way more.
Like if a kid's going off to a school or whatever,
he'll know like sometimes I'll be like, what do you wear to this sort of thing? And he'll just know because he notices things and he knows and he's just tuned into that. And I'm totally not.
That's really neat.
It's very
really
handy.
neat. Okay, so let's get back to this real live student who asked me that question. And her question was, You know, he never noticed, he never compliments, it's not even on his radar. What is this good silver lining for her?
He didn't criticize her then.
He didn't criticize her. She never feels criticized.
Yeah.
That's good.
But then, you see, the
really
whole
good.
thing of this issue is that if she's relying on her husband's words to make her feel good about herself, then that mindset has to change. She needs to put on something, feel good about herself, and her husband's compliment is cementing an accessory. But she needs to walk out and feel good. I like what I'm wearing. Of course, you cook something and you want the validation. And after Pesach, I really needed that validation, and appreciation.
Yeah.
But you also have to feel good at either your accomplishments or the way you look, and you can't rely on your happiness from another person's compliment. You need to feel good about yourself before when you put on
She's
something.
She's good. I hear that.
And if
It's
somebody's
hard.
critical of you, you
Right.
also have to say the opposite. Somebody criticized me, well, I like it, so what they say is their opinion.
It's very hard.
It doesn't make me,
Especially with
Very
especially
hard.
you know?
Especially also as a woman.
So-
It's very
Your husband, I
vulnerable
think
to
you-
outside.
But your
to-
husband
yeah.
more than anyone.
We also have
no, but criticism hurts more, I think,
Yeah.
than if you're
Yeah.
getting,
Not
not
getting
getting the
compliments.
But he's
compliment.
not going to say, "What do you wear?" Like he's not going to say like,
What are you wearing?
Yeah.
Why are you take
Right.
that out? Yeah, no, I hear. Although that could happen.
I mean,
But-
he made a comment to me this week that I found very funny. I have these little.
This is not Lashon Hara about the husband?
No, it was I don't know. You wear it under your shaitel to keep your hair in place.
net? Is it a net?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
attractive as the plaid.
What were you doing anywhere in public view with that thing on? Hello? Oh my gosh.
I think I once did carpool wearing those.
What you did?
My
What
daughter
was carpool?
was
What?
FaceTime and she goes, Ema, what are you wearing?
Right. She's like, I'm covered. Okay.
Anyway, so he sees me wearing this. He goes, wow, you look just like my mother.
That is the biggest
That's kind of
And I
sweet,
was-
though. That's kind of
I
sweet.
wasn't
could hear it.
insulted. I was laughing my head off.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Look like your mother.
Yeah, that's so cute. That's really hilarious. Okay, so yeah.
We have somebody on the line.
Okay, good. Bring her on. Let's hear.
Caller on the line. You are unmuted, so you can
Do I need
speak-
to
oh,
press
wait,
something
You're
over
unmuted,
here?
so you can
Don't
speak.
do anything?
Hello. We don't
Yeah,
hear-
hello.
Oh wait, yes, we hear them low. I heard a
hear
hello.
me through. I heard
Oh,
a
I
hello
actually,
too.
yeah, I heard a low.
Oh,
hello
over there.
coming from
Is
there.
this guy working? Maybe it is on.
Say hello. Say hello again.
Hello.
I hear the
We're hearing the
hello.
hello, but from
Okay, so maybe have her turn the volume of that, whatever that thing is, up. With the white thing. Hold on, wait. There was a point that you were saying. Okay, about.
Meanwhile, you'll say your point, and
Yeah,
we'll try
okay,
to
okay,
get.
yeah, you
Just
guys-
hold
you guys
on.
work on that while I'm
Hold
doing
on,
this. So
caller, we're
here's the
trying to
thing:
get
is
you-
that. Oh my gosh! Scared the blue. Yes, and then I wiggled my. I should check this
Please
up.
do not hurt yourself.
Yeah, it's so weird. No, I didn't get a shock. The thing made that noise. I jumped, and then my thumb rattled in the thing. I just got scared. Hello, this is a very
You cannot
bizarre
sue yourself,
entertainment.
okay?
Yeah, what'd you say?
So behave.
It's nuts. Okay, very good. So I'm good. You know, it's so weird, and he wants me to keep it elevated, and then I can't do anything. I can't drive 6 weeks. Uber.
Right,
Thank you.
yeah. Oh,
Thank God for Uber. What would I like? Anyways,
Yeah.
I would have had to walk here this morning.
Yeah.
Okay, or one of you guys would have had to schlep out early. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to cover this because we're stuck in this little bit of an area of should I feel good about myself and just walk out? And I look good. So if he doesn't say I look good, okay, too bad. That's it. I hear that. I'm gonna take us back to our sources and look that the wife yearns for her husband's approval. That's how God made us, for better or for worse, is we crave their approval. And it's a very hard fact, and especially in this modern world. Are you joking me, Leah? Like, are you joking? So it sounds like a baby thing. What
Now
is
we
this
got
called?
now we got
Ultrasound?
the caller. So hold on, caller, just 1 second so that I can
Yes,
finish.
thank you.
her.
We're with bated breath. We're waiting for you. So is that we crave for their admiration and for their attention and for their approval. So does that mean we should brush it off and just say, well, I like it anyway? Actually, that's probably in some cases fine. If that's an ongoing, never getting approval, never getting appreciation thing, if that's an ongoing thing in the marriage and you're never getting that about anything, yikes. So we're going to learn, as I said, how to make that happen, okay? How to get more of that, more, okay? But for some things it's true. For this particular woman who is coming out there and she it's almost like, what's the point? I put the makeup on, I put the thing, he doesn't say a word, he doesn't notice, he doesn't whatever. So what the silver lining, that the best one we got so far, is that you're let off the hook for when you don't dress perfectly, okay? Any other he won't compare you to anybody else, yeah.
Like, the reason I don't like these silver linings is I can't come up with one, so I'm not saying that they're. We keep thinking of it could be worse the other, it could be worse the other, it could be. Why can't there be something innately good with whatever it is he's doing? Like with the other silver linings you gave, it really shifted your viewpoint because there was something good in it. Like this is just the ulterior.
The
Could
other
be worse.
opposite.
What you
So,
said, but what you said, he really likes you for you. He doesn't.
Right.
He's not liking you because you're this. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you're looking
Picture
amazing.
of
He
when
really
he-
And
likes
that's
you
true.
for your.
I do get that, but in the
that's-
moment when you come out in a new dress and the other silver lining with her cereal, that really was I don't know, maybe it's so personal what shifts for one person versus the other, but that really resonated with me that I could see thinking about that in the moment. When you come out in your new dress that you just debated whether you should spend the money on, and you come out in your new dress and he's I'll see you later, I'm off, oh, okay, but at least he really loves me for who I am. I don't know, it's not really doing it for me.
Sometimes men really, they take it for granted that their wife just always looks nice. And if they're not looking nice, then they'll go ahead and they'll say something. They'll be critical. But if they're nice, they just assume, okay, well, my wife always looks nice. But then it's always maybe this lady when she's putting
hold
on.
on. Raise of hands. Does anybody always look nice? I don't know.
Of course, yeah. The only man our tech guy is raising his hand.
But when
I start to feel complex,
Yeah, no,
whoa,
no,
my gosh, do I always need to look nice? Okay.
Woman never
But when
does
this
that.
lady is going out in her new dress, how is she coming out? Is she coming out plain face, sour face, or is she coming out feeling a breath of confidence, and a big smile on her face, and looking in the mirror in front of him,
With the plaid thing.
in front of him, admiring herself, and now my kids, my
You
little,
mean, in other words, if she has a certain level of confidence or self-confidence or whatever, that
we're just-
adds to it?
yeah, well, if you're
not really a
coming
silver
out,
lining,
what
but
you're
this-
saying, you're
she
coming out in your
can.
new dress, are you coming out, smiling, anticipating,
Or are you? Why
Like,
can't? Well, why
there
can't
was
she
some
just
kind of
involve
eye
him in
contact.
it?
I was
Maybe
gonna
she
say,
needs
why
to
she
involve
can
him
learn
more.
how to do.
What do you
to
think? Do
ask
you
for
like these
appreciation?
shoes with it? I just got this new dress. I'm wondering,
Right, she
do you
should
like
do what
these
we
shoes
learned
with
how
it?
to do.
The more she says to him,
Right, but we're
Makes
talking
him a
about
part
the
of
silver lining quality.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. With all that, I agree.
The
Maybe
silver
she could say,
lining
"Should I
could
get
be,
this
look,
one
the
or
silver
that
lining
one?"
could be that she's
Hold on,
going to
she's
learn
done.
how to ask for appreciation from him. Now, this is how she'll learn. I'm saying
I love it.
this
I
calls
like
you.
that.
She calls you when you.
This is obviously a quality she needs to work on.
Gold
Excellent.
star.
And then
of
she,
the
and this is what
day.
started.
Gold
This
star.
is what started her,
Process
to get,
of being able
of
to
being
get
able
the
to reach out for
appreciation
appreciation.
that she
Yeah.
desperately needs.
why Hashem
This is her.
orchestrated that.
That's right.
Excellent.
that goes
That-
back to the horse thing where you can train your husband to compliment you.
train the horse. I love it. Okay, we're so glad that I brought up the house coat and that he's a horse. It's great. 2 inches. House coat and horse.
It's ridiculous.
That was such a great much.
So, but hold on, I just have to correct it for 1
For
second.
the
Is
record,
that
I was not
we-
referring
we-
to her husband as a horse.
You have don't
Say
even go
every
there.
class
Don't go
was
there.
said that he was a horse, not you.
It was merely a mush
special.
There you go. So,
I
but
didn't
here's
make
the
that.
other thing.
It was
I just
great.
want to make very clear, when we are appreciating ourselves in their, we'll get to this thoroughly. I promise you, we're going to walk through it step by step. But when we're getting the appreciation we need, we're not training them, because men are appreciation challenged. So it's not like one day they're going to wake up and now I got it. No, never going to happen. So it's an ongoing ongoing work that we're going to do to get the appreciation we need. Is it best? Husband says, you look fabulous. That dress makes you look so skinny. Yes, that's great. That's an A+ compliment. Okay, A+ appreciation. Not going to happen very often. And meanwhile, your appreciation bucket is going to be completely bone dry. It's far better for you to solicit that appreciation and have him do it a little bit, and you be happy with a B+ than it is for waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for that A+. Okay, we'll get there. Okay,
so
fantastic.
Our
Okay,
caller,
great.
I believe that you are
Who's been
good to
waiting
go.
for-
We can hear you. So,
I hope we can hear it.
hi.
Can you hear it? We can't hear it.
Hello.
Hello.
I hear
No, I
some
think that
echo.
was an echo of you, Sarit.
I know, but we heard it
Before I heard it, but
Can she type in her question just for now? Is she- Oh, it's on the phone. So maybe that other speaker there is going to do good. Okay, if not, I'm going to our next example. I'm so sorry, caller on the line. We love callers on the line. That's like, oh, wait, something's happening. I didn't jump this time. See? I didn't jump. Something, yeah, right.
What's the silver lining in this, Leah?
Yeah, there you go. Let's see, we're learning how to be patient. There we go. Okay, I'm going on to my next example. Okay. So, her husband, a woman said to me, her husband is rude to strangers. Not all the time, but enough of the time that she's a little embarrassed to go out with him. Like they'll be at a restaurant and she'll say, he'll ask for, oh, can you bring us more chips to the table? And then they come back and she's like, they walk by and say, excuse me, you said you were going to bring more chips to the table. We asked for more chips. Instead of saying, oh, chips to the or something. But he'll say it in a way that is a little bit harsh and a little bit mean. And it makes her completely embarrassed and annoyed and frustrated. And she keeps, and afterwards the waiter will leave and she'll look at him. Why did you need to say it like that? Why couldn't you, and how important are these chips in your life? Are the chips so important that you could make somebody else feel bad or embarrass them in public and with other people? Why did you need to say that? She said, I'm constantly correcting him. And it happened even in the bank, someone's kind of trying to cut in front of us. Me, look, if I'm in a rush, I'd say something. If not, I just okay, whatever. They didn't see me, maybe I'll let them cut in front of me. Him, he'll say, excuse me, there is a line. And she said, I want to crawl under a rock. Ladies, what's the silver lining?
why does it have to be civil lining? Why can't she teach him what's right?
Teach that horse.
The silver lining is for him because he's going to learn how to act towards people. She'll have to teach him. So,
Yeah, that's something that's not okay.
yeah.
No, the silver lining in this is clear, is that same attitude, that assertiveness, that speaking up is in situations where it's needed,
Right, it could
where
be.
she's really, like sometimes you just want your husband to stand up for you and
Or
to
should I wait
speak
till you
up,
guys come up with the
you
answer?
know? Yeah, or your kids need something and you want someone to stand up and not be, we all like,
Yeah, for sure
we're all
that could
so
be good, but in
embarrassed.
those
Yeah.
examples,
Wait, so how's it good? Say it again. If somebody
Meaning,
what?
in many of those times where, for example, even with schools, so many times we're so afraid to say anything or speak up, and in the process, our children are getting hurt. We always we don't want to ruffle feathers. We don't want. Sometimes you need that strong personality who comes in and
Excuse
says, no.
me, excuse me,
we need to make a change. This needs to change. You need, and so you're right. There's obviously there should be a finesse to it, and he needs to know, and he shouldn't be embarrassing people. But I guess that would be the silver lining in the times that it's needed. But how does she deal with it in the times where it's?
Well, what's his job?
His job, okay.
Oh, that's a joke.
It's on the other side of the country or world or whatever. So he owns a car dealership. And so he's constantly have to, he's what?
He's a pusher.
He's a pusher, and he's got to be forceful and push, and also he has to be, like, well, hey, wait a minute, blah 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 blah. That's what he does for a living, 24/7. And also, it's in a field, I don't mean to say. He's not selling, top of the line cars. He's selling used cars. Thank you. He's selling used cars. So there's a whole different character traits that people expect on the
Yes
dealership
and
for
no,
that.
you still have to have your mitos and your yastra stick. I
Right.
mean, that doesn't really
Cut
he's
it.
a car salesman, he could lie and be rude. Like, it doesn't work that way, It's not
Right,
really
right.
exactly how we live our lives. So.
I don't think
We
he
love
lies.
car salesmen.
Right. I don't
lies
think he
or
lies.
doesn't lie. It doesn't. You can't be rude
Right,
and
can't be
embarrass
rude.
people because
It's
that's
not
your
right.
profession.
Right. It's true.
But then he will do it also with his wife, so it's a red light.
It's a red
He
flag.
doesn't need other,
Yeah,
he'll
he
do it at home
does.
too.
But he does. Yeah.
Right at home to the kids. Yeah.
So I asked her that, and she said not so much.
She said strangers. That's what,
Yeah,
right?
It was
a
strangers.
stranger.
Well, he doesn't do that to the kids. Sometimes he'll call the kids out on stuff that maybe they should be called out on, or whatever. But mostly it's just,
It sounds like he's just rough around the edges.
yeah.
He wants to assert his, he doesn't want to be pushed around. He wants
But
to
not
be
with his
out there.
family, only with like strangers.
Yeah, but I guess he doesn't realize, if someone wanted to speak to him, he doesn't realize also, if you do it only with people you don't know, maybe you think it's not really a reflection of yourself. It's not like.
Right, because they're never
You
going
know,
to see
but,
you
like,
again,
not
or
gonna
they're not
see-
going to
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you stop and realize that working on your mitos is not for all the other people, it's for yourself, then he would realize and
That's
maybe
very
have
good.
a
I'm
better
going to put him on the
chance
phone
of
with you.
changing.
No, so
I'm scared of him. Are you kidding?
That's funny. But the issue is for this, it hit the nail right on the head, which is that for her to understand that this is either the good side to it is that he fights, and this is the exact example I used with her is with your children, and she said, "Oh, that's true." I get mortified when it's parent-teacher conference and whatever, and they start saying this about my son and that about my kid and my daughter and whatever, and they start talking, and I just clam up and oh, okay, and he'll say, wait a sec, I think you're judging our kid unfavorably. I don't think she's always the one who's starting the conversations. You look a little closer because when her friends are over for Shabbos or come to the house, I see that it's not always her the one who's the instigator. So. Maybe if you give her a little bit more benefit of the doubt. And I said, are you happy when your husband does that? And she goes, obviously. So now when she goes out there and they're in this embarrassing thing with the strangers, she can immediately use that insight, the silver lining. Okay, I get the good with the bad with this kind of a thing. And when I told her if she can really show her husband when they come out of that PTA meeting and when they're far away from the school so nobody's overhearing, saying to him, "Oh my goodness, I was so happy that you used your internal self-righteous, your strength to fight for something so righteous and so important in our lives." And if you say that enough times, and then when you're at the thing and he's fighting over the chips, and you say, maybe don't say anything, but maybe he'll sort of get that that's not the particular time to use that strength. Maybe you'll get somewhere. Don't try and change him. Yeah, Davin, there you go. Now, pray as much as you can for this. But anyway, that's the silver line. Do we have time for one more? Yeah? One more? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This one is a toughie, and I don't have all the answers to this one, so you guys are going to have to help out here. She says to me, "Leah, my husband just drives so aggressively. How can this be a good thing? How can this be? What's the silver lining here? I don't get it. This is not happening. He's very aggressive. He cuts people off. If there's two people getting out of a parking spot, he'll always, even if they started first, he'll back out and zoom off. And I don't know what to do with myself. And please help me. I don't know what the silver lining is." That's pretty good. Explain Zerizas. How do you translate? How do you translate Zerizas? Alacrity. Yeah, but alacrity is also people who know alacrity.
The horse
Huh?
story.
Yes.
He's always, he has a lot of energy to hurry to do things. So if, it could be channeled to doing good things. He's not lazy. Lazy is a hard quality to deal with.
It seems to be only when he's in a car. He
well,
aspired
it
to be a
means
race
that he
car
has
driver.
that capability. He has that
That's
capability.
very good.
Yeah,
Right off
yeah,
the bat,
yeah.
gold star.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
the first gold star,
I think
second
the
gold
silver
star.
line is she shouldn't drive with him anymore.
Sit in the back.
Let
Sit
her
in
be
the
sitting
back.
next to him, and she has to have all this anxiety. It should be when he's driving, and that should take care of everything else. She'll have no other anxiety just when she's in the car with him. That's her anxiety. That's her silver lining. This is my kapara. I have to drive with him.
No, but it's terrible. Road
That's
rage and
interesting.
that type of
He doesn't really have road
It's
rage.
dangerous. It is. He's
It's not
cutting
road
people
rage.
off.
It's reckless.
It's reckless.
And it's not safety.
Maybe she could come home one day and she could be crying and crying. He'll say, "What's wrong?" And she'll say, "I had such a nice day, but some guy cut me off." And my day, look how upset I am now. I can't deal with the kids. And like a few times, he'll see how upset. Then he'll start thinking like, "That's what I'm causing to other people."
Wow.
Maybe that would work.
That's interesting. Interesting. That's a little. He's
Little
not. He's
far-fetched,
probably
but-
not that dumb to not realize. she's doing
He's
that.
like, I think it was me who cut you off.
What'd you say?
And the
Oh,
car
that
was like a
me.
black.
If he really
Yeah.
did cut her off.
What were you gonna say?
I said in the car was a black. She should have said that in his like at the end. It was
was a-
you know,
it was
black with like a yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I like
That's
this.
it.
I think this has a lot of potential. That one, but I mean, not the telling him the,
Yeah,
not the lying about her day, but about recognizing that he's got that strength. That not lazy. I think that's very good. There is another thing that is kind of like one of these other things that float in your head that I read somewhere, which talked about, on the whole, aggressive drivers have less accidents than timid drivers.
Because they're probably more aware.
I was shocked.
No,
Yeah.
I
Why is that?
Yeah.
because you're so aware of the road
Yeah.
and you're so
Yeah.
in tune, and you
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
other people just space out when they drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're coming up to an intersection or something's about to happen, the
Your-
driver
your
who
pulse-
freezes
yeah.
and timid will cause an accident versus the driver that right away.
Because
knows
he's
how
used to like
navigate.
maneuvering and
Literally,
doing
it's
his
like-
No,
thing.
he's
So
probably causing accidents. All the cars are ramming.
He goes home, and everybody else.
He's so fast. And
I'm not gonna
everybody
be part of
else
this
is left
conversation.
there.
That's really good.
I'm a little
See someone is taking off fast
Yeah.
and causing an accident there.
Oh,
He took
really?
off.
You saw it? Oh, wow.
So
But did you catch his license plate? So yeah, I said on the whole or whatever that means. But the point is that
hard one.
for her to think of, maybe maybe it's better that he's a little. Maybe he's in the bell curve or whatever. He's like a little too aggressive, and maybe
But it's
he.
better than driving like a turtle. Come on, imagine driving with like someone who goes like this. Like, oh my.
I had an
Yeah.
uncle.
If you've ever driven
couldn't
with
drive.
her,
Yeah.
you would know exactly why she's saying that. I'm never closer to God than when I'm in her car.
Oh, I miss. She's aggressive or turtle?
Oh, she's
Aggressive.
I just pass everyone there's a whole right lane empty and everyone just like
yeah,
sitting
yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
hello.
And
like,
she's a big
I'm from
car.
New York.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just
A New York driver.
Yeah.
Stuck in LA. What can you do about that? But no, I had an uncle who would drive like this, and he'd get
Yeah.
the stop
Yeah.
before the stop sign. You'd do this 4 times. I'm
Yeah.
gonna hurt my hand again. He'd stop 4 times.
Yeah.
We'd be driving along. Whatever.
like
We always
people are
joke
just
about.
sitting there and there's a whole, you want to make a right and there's like a huge space and everyone is behind you. Like I just go to the right and do my thing. Like people just
Yeah,
are
she
sitting
just
and they're
does her
all,
thing.
I'm like,
And what's the silver lining on that? She's a doer. She's a
no
doer.
matter where we need to go, I know we will
We'll get there on time.
and I'm always late. So how does that work?
Silver lining.
It's a beautiful silver lining. Okay.
You're
Did we ever
always
get
they
the?
show the research that people that goes very fast and try to get to the point, that one goes normal. In the end, they get really to the same point.
At the same time, yeah.
No. I take my kids
Yeah,
to
Santa
school.
devised that.
I see people who are
He
here.
chose it.
I go this way. I'm like, and I just go and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I see people on the same street as I was, way like 2 blocks behind, like driving
Okay,
like
so
this.
she just disproved that research
Look, what
by
I'm saying-
anecdotal evidence.
The
and we
silver
find
lining
anecdotal
in that is
evidence
that you know what? I'll tell you what the silver
That's
lining
right.
is.
Yeah.
Is that your kids will never drive like that. They'll always be safe.
I always
You know
tell
why?
them. I always tell
My
them, don't.
kids are the same. They will literally say, "Ma, you scare me. I'm never driving like you." And her kids are the same. They literally
Oh,
like,
really?
Ma,
I
don't be
don't know if
afraid. I'm not driving like you. I see her daughter. She drives so
That's
nice.
my daughter. You should see
And
my sons.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so here's the situation. First of all, did we ever get the caller? I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, the
Can you
caller didn't
can you tell her to email me
Yeah,
later, and I'll
yeah,
try and
yeah,
answer her
yeah.
personally. Okay, fine. Sorry about that. We'll get the technicalities worked out. Hopefully sooner or later. Hopefully sooner than later. And I want to. So here's our homework. Okay. So the whatever of the day, the homework of the day, the lesson of the day is, since we know everything is all for the good, Gams Latov, we know there's always a silver lining. We always just have to make effort to find it. There's always going to be a silver lining. Just, you have to think and contemplate and play out different scenarios. There's always a silver lining. And the homework for the week is identify one annoying trait from your husband and look for the silver lining and act on that at least once this week. So you're coming back next week. We're going to say, okay, the homework was silver lining. Who saw silver lining? Who saw an annoying thing? What was the silver lining? And what action did you take differently because you knew that information?
Also, when you say the bracha pokeach rivim in the morning, you could have in mind that
Gorgeous.
Hashem should
Gorgeous.
open your eyes to things that you think are not good, but He should show you how they're really good.
Is that gorgeous? Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. Words of wisdom here at the Ladies Talk Show. This is your host, Leah Richeimer. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you have an idea for a class, something with your relationship, with your marriage that you're trying to work on, that you need some advice on, need some help on, need the ladies' information, needs the information from Masora, write in below in the comments below. Say, please do a class on XYZ, or email us at www.ladiestalkshow.com. or ladiestalkshow@gmail.com is the email, and info at ladiestalkshow.com. Thank you for that, for Sarit. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, I'm going to wear this for a month, so hello. I said, don't you have turquoise? Like, come on, you have to wear black. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next week, 11 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you.